daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Welcome one and all, welcome wherever you are around this beautiful big blue world of ours. And welcome to the Daily Premier League podcast from Global Sports Podcast Network. It's Tuesday, 25th of November. It's cold, it's frosty. That's what it's like in the UK. It's probably not like that in Dubai. My name's Ken Davis. His name is Nick Britton. What a weekend of football that has been. Nick, what did you make of all that?
Well, still catching my breath after the events of last night, really. It's very rare to see a player sent off for hitting his own teammate, but that's exactly what happened to Idrissa Gueye at Everton. It didn't stop Everton recording a 1-0 win away at Manchester United, and Manchester United looked exactly like they did a few weeks ago when everybody was going, is this going to be Amarin's last game? They look very poor.
They look poor,
I mean, you're looking at Liverpool's continued collapse. You're looking at, Man City couldn't take advantage of fairly insipid display, I thought, against Newcastle, who played really, really well, though. Yeah, lots to talk about. Lots to go through.
Lots to talk about. Wins for Chelsea, Brighton, Fulham, Forest. We'll come to that. Palace, Newcastle. We'll come to that. Villa, Arsenal. We'll come to that. And, of course, Everton. So it's very interesting. Most importantly, better point this out, just in the interest of fair play, in the interest of, being unbiased. We set our standards very high, journalistic standards. Nick won the Prediction League 5-3.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Just a little note to say that when I only got 3 a few weeks ago, it took up at least 10 minutes worth of content on the podcast. As you laughed at me, you harangued me, you ran around the room waving your arms. And yet, here we are.
I did. In fact, the whole podcast was devoted to it, really, including the title, I think, of the podcast.
And let's not remember, or let's not forget, dear listeners of ours, if you listen to the episode where Ken made all his predictions, which was on Saturday morning? Friday. He went for about 8 draws. A
draw is an allowable result. And to be honest, after a couple of games, it was looking pretty good.
But it doesn't happen very often. It doesn't happen that often, actually. So, yeah.
No, you're right. You're right. I feel such a fool, to be honest. Anyway,
so there's something. Oh, I'm going to tell you what that something is in a minute. Carry on with the pod because I'm going to check something.
Okay. Well, there's three main talking points I want to talk about today. First one is the continuing crisis, calamity that is Liverpool. I remember a few weeks ago, probably about 6 weeks ago, where I was saying something's not right at Liverpool, and people laughed at me. People pointed at me in the street and said, "There's that bloke who thinks the wheel's going to fall off at Liverpool." Look at me now. I am. I'm considered to be the predictor of the future. So we're going to talk about Liverpool, about exactly what that's looking like. It's starting to look worse and worse. Everton, of course, the game last night against Man United. Want to talk about the game, but want to talk clearly about they call it blue on blue, don't they, in the forces? And it's blue on blue last night with Everton. So it'd be interesting to talk about what was going on there between Keane and Idrissa Gueye. Wouldn't mind getting your perspective from a referee's perspective, because you are obviously our refereeing correspondent. And thirdly, I just wouldn't mind having a quick dance around Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, just see what our thoughts were on those teams and how that affects the league table. And that is our agenda, everybody. I've got it on PowerPoint. I've got an Excel spreadsheet. Everybody take the seats at the boardroom table because we're about to kick off. So, Nick, Liverpool, what's going on?
Well, they were ripped apart. That's the only way you could describe it. Now, I had no inkling of this was going to come at all, because I thought Liverpool were, they haven't been playing very well, but a Nottingham Forest coached by Sean Dyche, and I mean that with the greatest respect, you would expect to play fairly. You wouldn't expect to play the type of football they played at Anfield on Saturday. Now, they scored some great goals. They hit Liverpool on the attack at just the right times. They soaked up a lot of time without the ball. I wouldn't say huge amounts of pressure, but a lot of time without the ball. And Liverpool defensively were as bad as they've been all season, if not worse. So massive kudos to Sean Dyche. That's a huge result. And it was only no team had stopped Liverpool scoring at Anfield since Forest did it last season.
Yeah.
It was a remarkable
And that
result.
felt like a bit of a fluke last year, but this was a pretty dominant second half, particularly.
Yeah, last year they were absolutely battered, and then Hudson-Odoi sort of nicked one on a break. This year, when you see the goals from Saturday, when you look at the way they played, I thought they thoroughly deserved the win. There's just no doubt about it. They thoroughly deserve it.
I think so. Leaves Liverpool in a very awkward position in the bottom half of the table after a third of the season's gone. Who would have thought that after 5 games?
Slot's got several things he needs to do in a hurry.
Yeah, I want to come to that. Just want to set the context. Liverpool are below Everton. They've lost as many games as Forest. They've conceded as many goals as Forest. I mean, this is a team that was running away with it after 5 games. And the wheels have absolutely, well, they haven't fallen off. The whole edifice is disintegrated. So a couple of things that I just want to pick up on is Liverpool Slot particularly just doesn't seem to be sure of his first 11. They're kind of changed, so much change all the time. They just can't get settled. Just coming back to your point about the things to do in a hurry, just expound on that a little more if you could, Nick.
Well, he's got to get Isak playing for a start. Okay, Isak. I feel for him a little bit, even though he's been the author of his own downfall here. Nobody likes to see a player struggle the way he's struggling at the moment. He's got to find a way of getting him scoring goals.
We predicted it at the start of the season, though, didn't we?
Yeah. But if he can't, I don't even know why he's playing at the moment, because Ekitike has done well.
And as Wayne Rooney was saying, you'd be furious if you're Ekitike.
Yeah, 100%. So he's got to find a way of getting Isak confident. That's all it is. It's just confidence. There's no doubting Isak's talent. It's just confidence. And the same goes to Florian Wirtz. Confidence. Kirkes, the whole thing looks a bit too much for him. He was brilliant at Bournemouth last season. Just looks a shell of that player. It just looks too big a step up for him at the moment. I think he needs to drop Mo Salah and put him on a bench and make a statement for the team. I think that.
Well, Salah's going to the AFCON any minute anyway, isn't he? I mean, isn't this the time to actually say, well, actually, irrespective of that, we're gonna make a change, because we're going to have to make a change anyway.
Yeah. And I'm sure this is happening behind the scenes on the 25th of November. But on the 1st of January, he needs Mark Gay or another centre-half to come through the door. Yes. And that has to happen on the first day of the transfer window. It can't wait until 3 weeks later. It has to happen on the first day of the transfer. Now, the interesting thing is, Gahey was walking over hot coals to get to Liverpool in the summer. I wouldn't be if I was him right now, because in August or July, he's a free agent. He's going to have a host of suitors. Why would he go to Liverpool right now when there's realistically, there's no chance of winning anything this season?
No, I don't think so.
They're not going to win it. They might win the League Cup, but that's about it. They're not going to win it.
That doesn't really count for Liverpool.
No, they're not going to win the Premier League, obviously. There's no way they're going to win the Champions League playing how they are. And they're the two ones really that you want. So actually there's another dimension to this, in as much as it's very easy to go, I'll tell you what, we'll just go back for Gahey in January. Well, the goalposts have moved.
Completely.
Want to go.
Yeah, completely. That's a very interesting point, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if they're going for Semenyo as well, but we shall see.
They need a dominant centre half.
Yeah, they're massively. That's where they're lacking, and fullbacks, of course. A couple of points on slots. I was having a look. Sorry, Nick.
I said that you said that the defence is where they're lacking. I said, and midfielders and strikers and wide players.
They miss a lot of chances, don't they, Liverpool? They miss a lot of chances, even in the game, against Forest. They had 2 or 3 chances before Forest scored, and Forest scored from their first chance.
Yeah. I wonder if they need to, now that Trent's not playing and provides that sort of extra dimension going forward, they actually need to go back to slightly more rigid formation and just play 2 holding midfielders and let the front 4 play.
Yeah.
Just have say Gravenberch sitting there. Szoboszlai maybe sitting there, and just holding. Do you know what I mean?
This is part of the problem, isn't it? Because they had to change the shape quite considerably because of the players they brought in.
Have Gravenberch in there, have McAllister in there, just as two holding midfielders.
Yeah, love it. I think that's a very sensible thing to do. Just looking at Arne Slot, okay, I said he'd be under pressure. He is under pressure, but he's not going anywhere. I honestly don't think he is going anywhere, certainly until the end of the season. What I would say, though, I was looking at his track record, and I worry about managers who have come from Holland because, okay, he was at AK Alkmaar, AZ Alkmaar. He was at Feyenoord. He won the Eredivisie in 2022-23. He was second in 23-24. They were nothing in the European competitions. They never really threatened anything in any of the European competitions. The problem with the Dutch league, it's so shallow. It's so shallow. You've got three teams really, and it's no one else. And it's very hard to look at a coach that's been successful in Holland and say that's going to translate to Premier League. I've got no confidence in Slot at all.
It's difficult, isn't it? It's really difficult because when you're in a bit of a hole like this, it becomes, and every game, it's the pressure of being Liverpool. So every game's under scrutiny. What can you do? And the risk of that, we saw a little bit of this at Vito Pereira at Wolves before he got the sack. You then start kind of just making really rash decisions or putting players in odd positions or making odd choices. Because
that's Liverpool, isn't it? That is Liverpool. Yeah, I don't have a lot of confidence in this. Someone who managed to first and second in the Eredivisie with Feyenoord isn't necessarily, the best coach in the world. So I've just got a feeling things are going to continue he's going to continue to struggle. A lot of people are saying the team that won the Premier League last year, which of course he won as their coach, wasn't really his team. He's got his team, and he's making a mess of it.
Yeah, look, I don't think he's under pressure. He's not, I don't think, and shouldn't be in danger of getting the sack at the moment. As you said before, he's probably not going anywhere before the end of the season.
But I think he will go at the end of the season.
Well,
I think he'll go back to Holland.
We've got to see. Look, we know, and we've talked about this a lot. Football changes in an instant, and you look like you're having the worst time ever, and it's all gone wrong. Suddenly, you're winning games, and vice versa.
Like Derby County.
There's no possible way. Yeah, Derby County microcosm within 90 minutes on Saturday. Lost 3-2 at home, did you go to that, by the way?
I did.
Yeah, that's why. Can you just stop going? Just stop going, please. He's just got to find a way. And even if maybe we're in that territory where you just got to fluke one in off your backside and win 1-0, just to give the team a bit of confidence. Because you could see when they letting a goal against Forest on Saturday, heads went down.
Oh yeah,
confidence is lacking.
Here we go again.
Yeah, here we go again.
Yeah, but I honestly think he's not giving himself his best chance because he's not picking his best team. You've got to get Etiquette up front. You've got to play with two holding midfielders. You've got to swap Salah out. You've got to do something about your fullbacks. Even with the resources you've got, which are considerable, you've got to be doing better than that. Now, quick one. The next 6 games, very interesting game coming up for Liverpool, by the way, which is not in the Premier League, which is PSV on Wednesday.
Well, they've got PSV at home tomorrow night, and that maybe formed part of Slot's thinking on Saturday against Forest. It's not, he wants Ekitike to play tomorrow, and already he'll be having that little bit of Ange Postecoglou thinking here already, thinking I ain't going to win the Premier League, so I've got to put all my eggs in the Champions League basket because it's the only thing that's going to get me out of this hole is winning the Champions League. And if that's his thinking right, I need Ekitike for tomorrow night, then he is going to play Isaac. I mean, you're not chucking in a kid or somebody who's never played up front before. You're chucking in an established international striker that just isn't playing well at the moment.
Interesting. It's a massive game, I think, tomorrow. Massive, because PSV, I mean, it's obviously Dutch club. They'll be right up for this to put one over Slot.
They're not great. They're not good. I mean, they're more than beatable.
Oh, yeah.
PSV, yeah. They're not great.
No, they're not, which actually brings me, it's an interesting segue into the next 6 games, because Liverpool's next 6 games are West Ham away, Sunderland at home, Leeds away, Brighton at home, Spurs away, Wolves at home. They should really go and win 6 of them. Arsenal would.
They're all winnable. They're all winnable games, really, aren't they?
But they're horrible games to lose. Is what If you're in a downward spiral and you're losing some of these games, that's a bad look. Anyway, so we've managed to destroy Liverpool and Arne Slot all in 15 minutes. Here, by the way, as Arne Slot doesn't know, it pays to get your team selection right. Here at Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery partner. We chose Zencastr because Zencastr makes it easy to bring your vision to life, share it with your audience wherever they may be. It's got a 4K video recording. It's got easy AI editing tools and top-tier distribution tools, and they're all in one place. So if you've got a story to tell it with Zencastr, and you'll not regret your decision.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Okay, going across the other side of Stanley Park. I don't know, it's probably not even the case anymore with Hill Dickinson new ground. Liverpool probably completely different direction. But Everton, and we weren't even playing at Hill Dickinson. They were playing at Man United.
You made a right mess of this, haven't you? You made a right mess.
Yeah, I should start that bit again, really, shouldn't I? Anyway, we're talking about Everton. Interesting game last night for all kinds of reasons. 3 main reasons. How bad were Man United? What's going on? It's always weird when 2 players of the same team fall out and start throwing hands. And thirdly, how great were Everton after going down to 10 men? It never looked like losing. The fact they were a far better team before they lost a player. So let's deal with it first. First things first. How bad were Man United last night?
They were a little bit like the Man United earlier in the season, where we were criticising them for being slow, for being ponderous, for not creating much. They allowed Everton to essentially park the bus, as we say here in England, play in a low block, I think is the common phrase now that you have to use. They allowed that because every time they got the ball, rather than looking for moving it quickly, looking for the gaps, moving Everton around, they just played in front of Everton, side to side to side to side. Look, that shouldn't detract from one of the great saves of this already other season that Jordan Pickford made from a Xerxes header, where he was celebrating Xerxes. He was literally, you could see it, his body movement was, I'm off here because I've just scored. And Pickford's flung himself full length to his right to tip the ball around the corner. Great save.
Pickford was outstanding last night.
Yeah, one of the games Pickford where you just look at him and go, he's never going to let a goal in.
Yeah. I left him on the bench in my fantasy football.
I had him in my team, and I got 10 points, which was by far the highest scorer of my team in what was an otherwise pretty miserable week.
It was a miserable week for everybody, though. But no, Pickford was outstanding. He showed himself again to be world class. England's best, England's number 1 by some considerable margin. David Moyes had gone 17 games without a win at Old Trafford and managed one now, and managed one with 10 men. And he managed one with 10 men because Idrissa Gueye was sent off, had a bit of a set 2 with Michael Keane after a Man United chance. I've looked at it a few times. It's pretty modest, isn't it, as an assault? I mean, 2 questions. Is the standard slightly higher when you're having a go at your own player, your own teammate? And secondly, from a refereeing perspective, and secondly, did it really warrant a red?
Well, you raise an interesting point. Common sense would decree that the right course of action in that moment in time is to get the 2 players together, tell them to pack it in, give them a yellow card each, and get on with the game. However,
the referee didn't really do anything, did he?
Well, he kind of started it, to be honest. He kind of started it.
Yeah, but players have a go at each other all the time. You want that, don't you?
Well, yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it was an easy get out for David Moyes, who came out after the game and said, "Oh yeah, it's great. I welcome it."
I'd like to see that.
I don't believe anything. I don't believe. I didn't believe him in as much as what he said in public would be very different to what he said behind closed doors. Because
he would have been livid.
You lose that game and then suddenly it's a different story. But he won the game, and you don't want players fighting, I'm afraid, like that. You want players pushing each other. You want players having a go, but you don't want players physically fighting like that. I don't think it's a good look. And but referee Tony Harrington left him in an impossible position because by the laws of the game dictate that any contact above the neck from a player to any other person, whether it's his own teammate, whether it's an opposition player, whether it's a coach, whether it's a supporter, is a straight red card, unless contact is negligible. Now, you could potentially argue it's negligible. I don't think you could, if I'm honest with you. Negligible would be a little stroke around the face or something like that, or a little tap. His hand went out. It didn't hit him hard, but it hit him. And if he doesn't send him off in that situation, he then opens himself up into a world of pain, saying, well, he's not applied the laws of the game. So he gets in trouble and he might lose a game next week. He might get demoted. So you can't, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't if you're Tony Harrington, the referee. And I think he took the right course of action because that's what the laws state. Now, people who don't like it shouldn't have a problem with the referee. They should have a problem with the laws of the game. And, maybe they should be amended to say something like, look, whether it's at the discretion of the referee to some extent. It isn't. The only discretion is negligible or not negligible, and that wasn't negligible. So,
okay, that's a really good viewpoint on it. We can't really accuse refs on one hand of being inconsistent and then expecting them not to apply the laws of the game because you'll literally go mad, wouldn't you?
Well, referees should use their discretion. They should use common sense. Well, there are certain laws of the game where you can do that. You can use common sense and you can use discretion when it comes to a foul or a yellow card. But there are other laws of the game, like the ball going in and out of play, that you can't use your discretion at. And this is one of them. This is one of the laws where there is no discretion. Hand to face is a red card. It's violent conduct. And that's it. So he did the right thing.
Yeah, very good. I didn't quite see what the catalyst for it was in the sense of, was Gay complaining Keane was out of position or didn't close the ball down fast enough. I don't know. Didn't seem enough to really go off on one.
No, I think one played the ball to the other and it went out for a corner, I think.
Right.
I'm not really sure. You're right. It wasn't a major thing.
No.
And this is where David Moyes does have a point. It is good that players aren't just accepting that, put their head down and trudge back and defend a corner. It is good they're having a go at each other and making them, setting standards on the pitch. That's fine. It's not good that it comes to blows, but players should be challenging each other. If one does something, or if you play me, we're up against it at Old Trafford in the opening minutes of a game. You play me a simple ball, but instead of doing that, you boot it out and give away a corner. You damn right, I'm going to have a go at you.
I wouldn't play you the ball anyway. To be honest,
well, you just fall over.
I'm always playing it up, and I'm a creative midfielder. You're just a dour defender, central defender. I'm not even looking backwards, to be quite honest. Anyway. Just what I would say, though, on that subject is Everton's defence is really rock solid, really. 13 goals in 12 games. I mean, put it in perspective, we talked about Liverpool earlier, they've conceded 20. I still think Everton are lacking a bit up front. It was a great goal, by the way, by Dewsbury Hall last night, but they are lacking up front, I think, Everton. But they've got this very, very solid defence, and that seems to be working brilliantly for them at the moment. And they've got Pickford in goal, which helps.
Yeah, Pickford in goal absolutely helps. But the back two in the middle of Tarkowski and Keane are really good. They're really good. We'd worry how much Everton might miss Jared Branthwaite this season. Actually, these two are doing a business. And it's not often you can say that, if I'm honest with you, about Keane particularly, who's been a bit up and down over the years. But last night, they did really well. But equally, Manchester United made it very easy for them because they were just lofting balls into the box, which they were going to head away and kick away all day long.
All day. They look very pedestrian, lacked ideas, United. They considering we're just coming off an international break, they look like they've all been on the
they did. I mean,
beaches.
If you look at Everton's front four, because they play 4-3-2-1. Sorry, 4-2-3-1. If you look at the front four, you've got Ndiaye on the right, you've got Dewsbury Hall in the middle and Grealish on the left. That's really good. That's really good. Where they are let down is their striker. They don't have a good number 9. So it's either kind of Barry or Beto or Barry. They just interchange. Neither of them.
Neither are really that quality, are they?
But if you can go out in January, it's hard. But even find yourself a better number 9. then they could have a very good second half to the season. But even if you can't do it in January, because it is difficult to sign strikers in January, then next summer, I'm sure a good striker's right at the top of David Moyes' shopping list.
Yeah, I think so. And actually be quite a nicely balanced team, I think, if they get a real striker. Okay, before we move on to the third piece of the puzzle, Global Sports Podcast Network is partnered with Bionique, the world's most personalised supplements, because your body's unique. And because without knowing what deficiencies you have, if you take just off-the-shelf supplements, you may not be getting enough of the nutrients you need. You may be getting too many of the ones you don't need. So Bionique provide, very cleverly, 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs. Check the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN 2025 and you'll get 40% off your first order.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Okie dokie. We've got a quick spin across three other games which caught my eye this weekend. Arsenal's victory against Spurs, which when we were doing the predictions, Nick, you spent 5 minutes saying, Spurs are a good team, very, very good team. I fancy him for something. I really do. They might win. They might win. The home win. And of course it was a home win. It was always going to be a home win.
It was always going to be a home win.
Arsenal were pretty dominant. Let's deal with Arsenal first. Spurs were terrible. Arsenal were great. They're going to win the league. Yeah.
Yes, I think probably.
Can anyone challenge them?
Yeah, they can, because the only way Arsenal won't win the league is if they sort of blow up towards the end of the season, and they have form for not being able to keep their foot on the metal in the last couple of months of the season. It's looking difficult right now to see anybody but Arsenal win, because what they're doing so well is they're getting injuries. They've got a lot of injuries.
Mm.
And they're just bringing in players who are as good or doing the business and keep on winning games. I mean, they dismantled Tottenham. Tottenham were really poor. I mean, they were dreadful. But dismantled Tottenham on Sunday. And that was without, Gyökeres, who was injured.
It was great, though, wasn't he? Some of them finishing.
It was amazing. We know he's amazing. We talk about him a lot on this podcast. I'm one of his biggest fans. He's my favourite player in the Premier League. And they just look unstoppable, because you'd think losing your key centre half in Gabriel and your key striker in Gyökeres, that might affect. It had no effect. You'd think it might better. It had no effect whatsoever. They just steamrolled Tottenham from
Rice is such a player, isn't he? Such an important player for them.
Yeah, Rice was brilliant. I just thought, all over the pitch, every player. Trossard had a great game. Trossard really, really stepped up to the fore, because we wondered, didn't we, when Eze brought in Madueke in the summer, whether this would be the exit for Trossard. But it's the opposite. He stepped up. He's now an integral and key part of that team, and he's keeping Madueke out on Sunday. But then you can bring Madueke on, and you go, blimey, there's no rest. They're the best team.
They're the best team. Only City can challenge them, can't they? Only City can challenge them.
Well, at the moment, Chelsea are second, and that it'd be interesting, because they play each other on Sunday, don't they? Chelsea against Arsenal. That's going to be a fascinating game, because if Arsenal win that, and I think they will win it,
so do I.
Then that opens up, a big gap. And never say never. We've seen it down the years. Teams with big leads get hauled in. That happens. It can happen. It does happen. But right now, Arsenal are looking head and shoulders above the rest of the Premier League.
I think so. Things can change quickly. But normally the team involved is not as good as Arsenal. Spurs, by the way, I'm glad you're getting on my little hobby horse here. Spurs are in fact rubbish, and that it was a completely false position they were in. Spurs are in fact rubbish, and it was a completely false position they were in.
Okay. Yeah, they're down to 9th now on level points, Man U, Everton and Liverpool. Everton are above Liverpool for the first time in a decade, by the way.
I know, it's amazing. Amazing to see. Liverpool, that story's going to run and run, I'm telling you. And it's going to... what do you think of prediction then for the game against PSV tomorrow for Liverpool?
Well, it's hard to predict them a win, isn't it? But I think they will win it. I think the Champions League's going to be slightly better for them than the Premier League at the moment. So, no, I do think they will win it. But it's the first time since Bill Shankly was in charge. And that was, the 1950s?
No, 1970s, 60s and 70s.
That Liverpool lost 2 games in a row by 3 goals.
Yeah. That's and it didn't. Well, I'm surprised that happened under Shankly, to be honest. Man City, pretty hesitant. Newcastle looked pretty good. Why was Foden's not a penalty? That was a bigger penalty than I've seen in a long time. We don't like to diss the refs because we're kind of on the ref side, but I mean, what was going on there? That went to VAR.
Yeah, I don't know.
What are they thinking?
I don't know. I can't explain it. It one little bit. I don't know. But listen, on the whole, Newcastle absolutely deserved to win the game.
Yeah.
I thought they were really good. They're a funny side this year.
Where did that come from? Because they've been really ordinary, haven't they?
No, they haven't. Their home form's been really good. Their away form's been dreadful. That's why in the middle, they are ordinary. They can't sort that away form out. If they can sort the away form out, they'll shoot up the table because their home form is really, really good. And they made Man City look pretty poor. That midfield 3 that I love of Joe Linton and Ollie and Bruno were right on it. Haaland didn't really get a kick after the first 2 or 3 minutes. And we all know that if Haaland don't get a kick, Man City don't score. And they didn't. Foden, I thought, played well, but missed a couple of very
they had some good chances.
But I don't think we should take anything away from a very good Newcastle performance. And Man City, again, it was a missed opportunity, wasn't it, to close that or to keep the pressure on Arsenal, if you like.
Absolutely. And very interesting, but you're right, City were hesitant. And finally, Chelsea, pretty routine win against Burnley, away at Burnley. They got the job done. They were not dominant in a way that you expect an Arsenal to be dominant. Pretty unconvincing, really. But, they did the job they answered the question, can they do it on a cold, rainy, You said
no in your prediction. I said yes, and that's why I won the prediction league, and lots of other results as well. Yeah, 5 out of the last 6 they've won, and slowly they're just nobody's talking about them. Everybody's going on about Liverpool and Man City and Arsenal. Nobody's talking about Chelsea, but they're in second place. If they turn Arsenal over on Sunday, game on.
Yeah, maybe you're right. And they won without Caicedo. I think it's been one of the outstanding players of the Premier League this year.
Well, interestingly, we've been talking about this, haven't we? We talked a few weeks ago about can they play without Cole Palmer? And at the time they were struggling, but they've found a way to do it now, haven't they? They've found a way to do it. And Estavio, I think, is worth a mention. Estavio, sorry, because he's come to the fore.
Yeah, he's
becoming a really good player, and Maresca's got them playing better now, I think. So they've got over that hump of being able to play, not being able to play without Palmer, and they're looking good.
I wonder, and this is the test for me. The next game coming up. I think there may be one of them teams that beats crap teams convincingly, Chelsea, but struggles against better teams. I'll be interested to see how they perform against Arsenal. I can see Arsenal taking them to the cleaners, quite honestly, but we shall see. I
can see them winning the game. I don't know if they'll take them to cleaners because I think that's very good form, but I think Arsenal will win, yeah.
I think so. But we'll leave that for Friday. Anyway, thank you, Nick. That has been, as always, an enormous pleasure. And thank you, everybody, for listening, wherever you may be. If you want to get in contact with us, and please do, because we'll probably have a post bag again soon. It's dailypremierleaguepodcast@gmail.com. I've been Ken Davis. I will be for the rest of the week. He's been Nick Britton. He will also be for the rest of the week. And we'll see you again the next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.